Hey guys, what's popping? EURUSD here. Welcome to the 18th episode of the weekly market outlook with TRADEXPROP. In this episode, I will be covering the dollar index, gold, the S&P 500, as well as a special request for the Euro US dollar. Now, if you have any other asset classes you'd like me to cover, just comment down below in the comment section, or even better, join our free Discord to reach out to team members as well as myself so we can interact better. Alright, so because we do have a special request from our comment section for Euro US dollar, we have 4 pairs to cover this week. So I think I'll be going a bit quicker than usual so that I don't drag too much of your time. So I'll see how that goes. I may just adjust it in the future episodes. I'm not sure if the Euro USD would be something that's a common pair for me to analyze, but for now I think I'll keep it in and I'll see if 4 pairs is going to be sufficient for me to cover in just one video that isn't like an hour long. So not to waste any more time, let's just get straight into the video. So here we have the DXY monthly, and same thing, right? We are in a bullish storyline all the way from this open close. We are coming into our second week of the month right here. So tomorrow will be the 12th of August. So so what happened last month is that we saw a bearish candle closure right here. We closed beneath all these levels, signaling that these are now valid potential monthly areas of resistance. So in the first week of August as well as last week, we saw a big pullback and then a rejection off of those levels. All right, this big sell-off is pretty much because of a lot of fundamental reasons, but I won't cover all of them. But mainly, in my opinion, it could potentially be due to the Japanese carry trade of the interest rates of Japan was increased by the BOJ, and that probably caused a lot of panic selling. If you want to know more, just Google what happened to cause this big sell-off. But yeah, that's pretty much, I think, the main cause of this large sell-off lower. Of course, there are probably multiple reasons that caused it. Oftentimes in the markets, there isn't just one big reason for why something happened. Same as in life, most times it's something that's been building up throughout a long period of time before that big reaction. So anyway, we saw this big pullback and then that drop, and now we're seeing a pullback once again in this long wick. So storyline is still bullish, until this candle closes. Right here, we can't really say it's going to be changing, but as of now, it is still a bullish monthly storyline, meaning you should be looking for longs around areas of weekly supports and below. So I've noted out a few of the nearby areas of resistances as well as support. Down here, this is the nearest one. If we come down to this, we could come down to this as well, so just to keep that in mind. So going down to the weekly time frame right here, we understand that we are in a monthly bullish storyline. So what about the weekly? Well, the weekly actually currently is in a bearish storyline. From right here, we had this down move creating that resistance, and then we tapped that resistance and just dipped from this weekly candlestick onwards, right? Pulling up the line chart, yeah, you can see clear. We had this big move, boom, 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 right? I mean, you don't really see that wick because the line chart only shows you candle closures, but this is obviously an area of resistance right here. Oh no. All right, so coming back to the chart, what did last week do? So last week we had this really big pullback candle, so that doji candle right here, which oftentimes signifies indecision. We saw price open, big dip. I think price open, big dip, and then we came up like this. So this is what pretty much happened, and open, low, high, and close. This is what happened last week. So we came down into this area of support that I noted out last week, and we did reject it to a big extent right here. However, we are still in a bearish storyline because we have not had a daily breakout on the daily time frame to signify this weekly reject weekly and then daily bullish breakout to cause a weekly bullish storyline. This hasn't happened just yet. All right, so as of now, it could potentially turn bullish from here in the form of a pullback, or even to continue that long-term bullish trend. But as of now, still bearish, anticipating a probability that we might turn bullish from this reaction right here. We also did test this weekly resistance, this open close that kind of coincided with engulfing candle, which is pretty much my favorite. So an open close formation that engulfs the previous candle is something that I like. We had this broken down here, and last week price did come up to tap it. So we had a weekly reject weekly on both sides. However, we don't have a new storyline start from either because we don't have a daily breakout. Okay, so for next week, which is this week technically speaking, we do have a few key levels to pay attention to on the weekly time frame. First off, we have this one, which is untapped. Since none of these have been, they're not unfresh, which means they can probably still be traded from. This two right here, this is an open close resistance. Along with this flip, this is still a valid area of resistance, so we could see price come up, tap it to come down lower, and you have to be wary of this weekly support as well. So we could see price come up, come down to come up, or come down, come up to come down again. So resistance, support, right? Given area. Also, we keep an eye on this area, so as this area on top right here for a weekly resistance. We have this open close, this flip right here. So this entire area was pretty much flipped by this large candlestick right here. So this. So we could come up, retest within this area, and push down lower if we were to come all the way up here. Okay, but what if we break down lower? Well, if we come down lower, this wick actually tested these areas right here, but they're still fresh in the sense that, oh sorry, not this area, but pretty much this right here, this one tapped this, so this is unfresh. This long wick came all the way down to here, right? So as of now, if we do continue lower, I would be mindful of something on the daily time frame within this long wick, because whenever you see such a long wick on the weekly time frame or any higher time frame, do note that if you go down to lower time frames, you will likely see more key areas play out there. So ignore what I said about any of these areas. If it were to come down, I would pretty much be mindful of here. So from this area, we could see reactions from there. Okay, just to prove that as I tapped, this is still fresh. So this key area, let me just note them out right here. This open close all the way down to here is what I would be looking at. Okay, so going down to the daily, the storyline that we are currently in is a daily bullish storyline, all the way from this open close respect right here, and then we had this H4 bullish breakout, meaning that we are currently bullish within these time frame. All right, so monthly bullish, weekly bearish, daily is bullish. So the one that is kind of not in line with the rest is the weekly time frame, which is in the bearish trend or bearish storyline. We could be in a pullback of the monthly storyline because it's bullish, so we could see a weekly pullback to go higher, or we could even see if it's an early sign of a bearish monthly trend start. Okay, but we would have to wait for the monthly candle to showcase that. So as of now, daily is bullish, weekly is bearish. Watch out for weekly areas of resistance, which is this area that I noted in the weekly time frame right here. So we could see price travel higher into this area. This is not within this, so I'm gonna take that. This is within it. We have some of these areas as well, so we could definitely come up and see a reaction lower from there. This is that weekly area of resistance. So if we come up right here and then we start to form a daily resistance and then we test it to go lower, this is an area where you could look for potential shorts at. So it all depends on how we trade near to this area of resistance right here. If we were to come down lower, I want a daily area of resistance to form, tap it to go lower, so we can realign the daily and the weekly to both be bearish, which is when I'll be taking shorts down into this weekly area of support right here, or maybe even something lower down below. All right, that I outlined on the weekly time frame. So coming back to the daily for next week, I would personally be looking at this price point right here, see if we form any interesting price action. But if we break past these levels, we could see price reach all the way up into this area of resistance to continue lower. You know, if we just come down lower, I'd be eyeing this area right here to see if we form any interesting price action to continue higher. All right, so it all depends on how we trade for next week. So speaking about next week, let's look at our good friend, the economic calendar. Let me just zoom in. Let me just put this right here. So next week we don't have news on Monday, but we have high impact news on Tuesday all the way to Thursday, and Friday we have a no news day. So we could anticipate a smaller range on the Monday, and Tuesday, Wednesday could lead the expansion. So be aware of what Tuesday does. So Monday could come up and just have a small range day. Just delete that. Have that small range day, form a resistance. Tuesday could tap it, push lower, and Wednesday could, you know, continue that movement up to Thursday. Maybe we tap this daily or weekly level, this support, and then push higher, and Friday ends the week like that. If you want an inverse of that, I just have to do this. This could also happen. Oh, sorry. I mean, let me just, this this formation could also happen for a bearish scenario. Okay, so for a bullish scenario. So let me just delete off this real quick. So if we were to see the opposite happen, we could see price continue lower, lower, lower here, and then see price do a bullish reversal during maybe Wednesday, Thursday, reach here, and then see a pullback for Friday. So Friday is expected for me to be a pullback day. So yeah, this is what the news releases will tell you when to expect expansion, and you can pair that with your price action chart. So let me just pull up the next pair, which is EURUSD right here, because we can contrast that with the DXY. So we are in a bullish trend on the monthly chart right here from this traditional tap. Certain brokers may not have shown this tap, but on Oenda it did tap right here, as you can see that. So we are in a bullish monthly trend, but really looking at the bigger picture, we've pretty much been sideways all the way since late 2022. So it's been 2 years since we've been in this really bad range, I call it, just, you know, oscillating back and forth. So this is why it's kind of hard to trade and find fresh levels in and around this price point right here. But as of now, disregarding these long wicks, the two nearest monthly levels right here is this traditional resistance, as well as this flip open close. We resistance, broke becomes support, broke becomes resistance, and broke becomes support once again, and then we tapped it right here, and then we pretty much left. Okay, so as of now, the monthly candle hasn't closed yet, but this was one of the catalysts for this large move to the upside, this monthly level right here. So monthly bullish. Let's look at the weekly. Weekly is also in a bullish storyline from this open close engulfing right here, open close, this open close, which led to this open close. We came down, tapped it, and we have a bullish storyline start from there. So monthly bullish, weekly bullish, we should be looking for longs around weekly and daily supports. All right, nearby levels, we have this, just zoom in right here. Nice. So we have this flip. This is a resistance, price broke it, came down here, tapped it to go higher. And this long wick that we also saw on the DXY, we also did tap this potential open close flip, but down below a level we haven't tapped yet is this weekly support. So as of next week, we could see a potential move higher. Now this week did not tap anything fresh on the left. We did take out this large pool of liquidity, so that could be the catalyst for this long reversal wick to the downside. But as of next week, since we are still in bullish storylines, I am thinking we are going to continue to go higher from any of these levels because they are still fresh. No storyline on the bullish side has started from any of these levels, so they are still fresh, right? Worst comes to worst, we come down here and we can see any reactions within this level to continue going higher. Just waiting for that reaction and to go higher to where? This is currently the only area of resistance on the weekly that is fresh, because none of these are fresh. We got all tapped, this one tapped, tapped. So really this area right here is the only fresh area of resistance that's valid for me to look for shorting opportunities from. So on the daily, the storyline is bearish from this open close respect right here. We turned bearish on this candlestick, open close. So this is the weekly, this line right here is this line. So just just keep an eye on that, because everything is pretty much bullish on the monthly and weekly. This bearish storyline, I'm expecting it to be a pullback lower to continue higher right here. So we could come up, tap this, come down and come up, or we could just come down and then have a reversal around any of these weekly or / daily areas of supports to continue higher. First target would likely be here, and your final targets would probably be around this weekly / monthly resistance right here. Do keep note that if we do form new areas of resistance, they are still not going to be stronger in theory than the monthly and weekly bullish storyline, which means that you should in theory be okay with holding your longs a bit longer if they do happen. Conversely, if price does come up to do a reversal short, your shorts should not be held for too long. You could exit at the next daily or the next area of weekly supports. Okay, so yeah, you should kind of mirror that with the DXY, see if they are in line with one another, because on the DXY I am pretty much neutral in terms of where we might form, so it comes, so key areas to monitor if you come up, come down, or come down to come up. So it all depends on DXY. You could pair that with the euro dollar right here. Okay, so that is two pairs down. Let's go to gold. So for gold, monthly storyline is still bullish from here, and then we have the nearby monthly areas of supports around this area as well as this area right here. This hasn't closed, so we can't really say much. Now going down to the weekly, let me just hide that real quick. So going down to the weekly, we are in a bullish storyline from this open close flip respect right here, and we've been bullish ever since. We did tap this to turn bearish, but no storyline has started. Right, we've tapped this and we have seen good reactions from it, but no bearish storyline on the weekly has started from this tap right here. And then last week we came up, the previous weeks we came up, and last week we came down to retest these areas right here, this entire area of support, and then we have a big rejection to the upside. Okay, so we tap this, pull back higher. So as of now, since we are in a weekly bullish storyline as well as a monthly bullish storyline, your long should be the ones that you're holding for a longer period. Of course, noticing that we are in and around all-time highs, you should probably have a realistic target, to say the least. Okay, so this is wrong. So nearby levels which are fresh, we have this weekly resistance, as well as this entire area of weekly support is still fresh because we haven't had a weekly bullish storyline start from this mitigation right here. Okay, so that's pretty much what I'm expecting for the weekly, which is to see price potentially continue to push higher into this weekly resistance that we just formed, and we could definitely come down, of course. But as of now, let's go down to daily. We are in a daily bearish storyline all the way from here, this large move and then this large pullback higher. We didn't tap any levels of support and respected them, so this reaction pretty much, for me at least, does not have a catalyst. So this is our apex all-time high, so this is the last area of resistance. I expect price to hold if we do come up, even though it isn't fresh anymore. Nearby levels, we have this weekly and MTF daily resistance that we could see price come up, tap, and then reject lower. We have this daily support as well as this daily support, but they are in the middle of nowhere. They're pretty much in the middle of this large weekly range. So playing within the range is not something I like to do, but we are weekly and monthly bullish, so you could definitely take longs into resistances up above. So we have this weekly support and weekly support right here, which are a bit more, I'd say, solid in terms of if we do come down to them, we could definitely see price potentially show a bigger reaction to capitalize on that long reversal. But taking longs at these areas and this area isn't exactly wrong either, following the idea of storyline, but you could be a bit more careful with your entries. Don't be too aggressive, don't just place a limit there. You could wait for price to come back here, form a new daily or H4 support, and then take price to go higher. That's also something you could do, because this level, this level, this level, this level, and these two are ideal because they are refinements of the weekly support, but these two are kind of in the middle of nowhere and they're very close to this weekly resistance. So it may not be the best RR if you were to just take a long-term trade, but they definitely could work. So resistance, be wary of this to happen. We could come down here to go higher, but always just monitor the reactions and react. Ideally we could come down here and react off of this daily area of support, coinciding with that weekly area of support right here. So that's the gold. Move on to our final pair. Right here we have the US500. We are still bullish on the monthly chart, right? Monthly, still bullish all the way down here. We never really turned bearish anywhere else. Okay, so this candle hasn't closed, so technically now we are below this monthly support right here. We are really below it, but candlestick hasn't closed. Who's to say that we don't just reverse to go higher? So just place a level right there. We tapped both of these areas of support as well as this one. I mean, I think we barely tapped it, barely. So we did tap many monthly supports, and we have since a large rejection to the upside. So going down to the weekly time frame, this is the month. This is the monthly support, and we are well beneath it. So monthly bullish for a long time, weekly is bearish, right? Bearish from this red line right here, open close, engulfing candle, tapped it right here. So we turned bearish in this candlestick on the weekly, and since then we've just seen a large continued drop down into last week, where we saw a large pullback, large dump on Monday, and then a big pullback to the upside. Okay, so for next week, right, don't forget that we are potentially turning bullish, because we came down to a monthly and weekly support, and we also came down to multiple monthlies, as I denoted here. Came down to here, here as well. So we are pretty much in a steep discount based on just areas of support and resistance. We tapped a lot of monthly supports, and we're seeing this large rejection to the upside. We did reject this this weekly flip zone right here. We flipped it here, and we came out to retest it right here. So as of now, we don't really have any storylines start from this mitigation and this mitigation. We never really had that, because it was just a large continued drop. Okay, so on the daily, we are in a bullish daily storyline, since we couldn't really see much from the weekly. Let's drop down to the daily, and I've noted out the weekly levels for easier viewing. But for next week, we tapped this weekly resistance. We have this weekly support from in this up down up candle. So this is that support. So we have this weekly support, this monthly, weekly support, and we're just stuck between these levels right here. Now this is a really big mess to navigate, so I'd say pretty much just try your best to stay away until price shows you a clear intent to either side. So what I mean by that is, here we have this weekly resistance. If we close above it, close above all of these weekly MTF daily supports, you could anticipate price to continue going higher. But if we reject down here, we form daily resistances, and then we are coming down right here, you could anticipate price to continue to tank, maybe down into this area right here, right? But because this entire area is an area of support, it can be hard to trade. So I'd say I prefer for it to kind of wait for price to leave this area, show its intent on leaving this cluster of areas, retest, and then continue in the overall bigger picture as it was intended to do. So I think out of all the pairs that we did, the S&P 500 could be the one that looks the worst, because of just this big movement over here and this cluster of levels that are so nearby to one another. Okay, so I would personally prefer to exit this area right here to go either higher or lower, doesn't matter, but just keep in mind that we have a monthly bullish storyline and a weekly bearish storyline, but potentially bullish on the weekly as well. Just waiting to see more confirmations. Okay, maybe the best idea wouldn't be not to just rush into impulse trades, taking ideas off of just purely daily levels. I want a big strong push up or down, leaving this cluster right here before considering a trade high probability. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Alright, peace.